All right, guys. Well, welcome back to All Things Football, and we're excited today to cover the loan transfer of Heo Jae-won to Bayern Munich. And this is exciting because we've never had a Korean goalkeeper uh, go for any period amount of time to a top five league club, let alone Bayern Munich. And so we're super excited. We're going to discuss what that means for Korean football. And we're going to discuss what that could even mean for the national team. And we also are collaborating with Bayern Focus on X, and so we've sent some questions over to him to get his expert Bayern Munich takes on what he thinks about the relationship between Korean football and Bayern Munich. So exciting news, and we're gonna actually look at some highlights and react to some highlights. But before I do that, I just want to hand it over to my mate Kevin and just get his take on this loan transfer to Bayern Munich B team of Heo Jae-won.
Yeah, bro. Joel, I'm glad that you're you're excited. I'm glad that someone's excited about this loan transfer because I'm still hung up about, our youth coming to Europe and not really making a splash yet. Like Park Sung-soo still at Newcastle U21s. Yang Min-hyuk is going to
Sure. Yeah.
Belgium, his fourth loan spell in the last 2 years. Coventry didn't go well. They're in the Prem now. He did a bit at Portsmouth before Coventry, but yeah, we're still waiting on his arrival. And then the only Korean rep in the Prem right now, Kim Jisoo for Brentford. Um, and we don't know if he's gonna get any minutes. So trends don't really um, opt towards anything promising to me. But of course, Hojo-won is his own guy, his own player. It's a 6-month loan spell, like you mentioned already. So it's really not much, but maybe he learns a lot. He will be at the same club as the man who has revolutionized the goalkeeping position. So let's see what he takes with that and runs with.
Yeah. And I think Byron Focus will also chime in about his thoughts on that as well. But yeah, I think it's very interesting that he's also just a very young prospect. He's 18 years old. And so I think a lot of his development will actually come from Bayern Munich. And it's a very interesting situation right now. We're going to take a look at some of his highlights. He was actually, the way that he got attention from Bayern Munich is through the Bayern Munich World Club, the world team that he was a part of, and he was the only one who actually got invited to sign for a loan period for the Bayern Munich B team from that from
Nice.
that from that World Club. So that's actually huge, and we're gonna look at some highlights and just react to what he brings, what kind of things that the management of Bayern Munich see in him to make them want to bring him over. And this is actually from the Bayern Munich Academy's Instagram site. So let's check out some highlights here. Oh, wait, this is ay, ay, ay. All right, there you go. So you
All
just see
right.
some raw athletic ability, raw potential. Again, he's massive. He's 6'5", and you could see his reach, and you could see just his young reaction time at the age of 18, and you could also see some of his technical abilities. He nutmegged a defender right there, one of
Yeah.
the attackers right there. That was kind
Yeah.
of fun to see. So I think that's
He's
those are some things that I think the Bayern Munich managers see that make them a little bit interested. We're gonna look at one more video before I do that. Kevin, what would you think about that first one?
No, he looks very, very competent, which is the most you can ask for, especially from a young goalkeeper. The clips that caught my eye was him holding on to the ball. Like obviously his shot stopping is massive because he's so huge. But him holding onto the ball, I love to see a goalkeeper that holds on, who claims crosses. Like
Yeah.
Cho Yonu put on a masterclass in 2018 against Germany because he did a whole lot of that.
Mm,
So it's good to see. And then, like you said, decent footwork, which is very important in the modern game. So yeah, very competent, promising look.
yeah.
Let's see the next clip.
Yeah. And so the other aspect that Bayern Munich really highlighted that made them really like the dude a lot is, in addition to his athleticism, they liked his ability to build from the back, his passing, and his ability
Nice.
to really target people with the ball. And so we're going to look at a clip where he does that, and so I think that's very interesting that that's something that they highlighted on their site. So
Yeah.
check it out. Goalkeeper position.
Nice distro. How's your distro? Distro? Oh yeah, baby.
All right.
Distro. I like that. I like all of that, man.
What did you say? Distro?
Yeah, distribution. How's your
Okay.
distro? Yeah, when the
Yeah,
ball
yeah.
goes back to the goalkeeper, sometimes
Yeah.
phase him out or whatever.
Yeah,
But
and so what our viewers may not realize, Kevin actually played the goalkeeper position. Just playing football growing up.
just as a kid though, yeah.
Just as a kid, but you know a lot more than me. I've never even touched the goalkeeper position in any way, shape, or form.
Fairs.
So for someone with even that amount of experience, like what do you see? Like as you see him
Nice.
distributing the ball.
Composure is very, very good. He can do the short pass, mid range, long pass. I don't know what his success rate is like, especially for that game. But yeah, I can see if he does that on the regular, just seeing that many clips from one single game, maybe one single half, since camera stayed on that side of the goal whenever he hit one, it's very encouraging, very, very encouraging. Which is, like I said, the most you can ask for from a young goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So that's Heo Jae-won, and I believe he's now over in Germany, and I believe he's getting time with the U19 Bayern Munich team, and
Nice.
we hope that he develops. And I did see one interview with Manuel Neuer, and he was asked about Heo Jae-won, and he said that there's a reason that the Bayern Munich team focused on him and brought him over.
Great.
It's not just for like commercial reasons. Obviously he's only 18, but they really want to invest in him. And he said the most important thing for Heo Jae-won is just to get game time and get experience.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
But yeah, from the interview, it looked like Manuel Neuer, gave some props to Heo Jae-won, and he really liked what he saw, which is huge coming from the guy himself.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a captain of a club should be doing for the youth. Just lifting them up, even if it's only going to be for 6 months. So
yeah,
good.
And there's been a lot of chatter on Korean netizens of just how good looking he is too. People are saying that he reminds them of I forgot. I'm gonna butcher his name. The Korean actor. He was in Tangerine. I forgot the Netflix show. It has a title, Tangerines.
Okay.
Life by Tangerines. His last name is Park. Park Go something. But they say that he resembles that guy, and a lot of them have been fawning over just his good looks and
That's
just
very funny.
big height. And so I think that's just kind of humorous to observe. But he is a good looking dude. And
Classic Koreans, bro.
yeah, and he looks like a man, dude. I mean, like he's only 18, but he don't look 18.
No, he's huge. Huge.
He looks like he's in his mid late 20s. I mean, he just has a commanding presence about him, and so I think that's kind of.
I mean, that's what I want to see from my goalkeeper. So steady on, lad. Hope you do something in Bayern. Hope you learn something there, man.
All right,
it's most we can ask for.
Yeah. So right now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at some of the questions we presented to Bayern Focus on X and get his thoughts on just the relationship of Korean football with Bayern Munich. And we're going to actually be talking about players like Kim Min-jae and other players as well that have crossed paths with Bayern Munich. And then we're going to
shout out to him
with Heo Jae-won. And so the first question that we asked, obviously, is Kim Min-jae. Kim Min-jae, the GOAT of defense and of Asian football, I would argue. And we asked him what his thoughts of Kim Min-jae were in his time so far with Bayern Munich. And Kim Min-jae is entering his 4th year now with the club. And It's the longest time he's spent with the club since his times at Chumbuk, and he while he played an excessive amount of minutes 2 years ago to the point where he exacerbated a foot injury. Last year he was just more a rotational option, and so we asked Bayern Focus what are his expectations for Kim this season, and does he see Kim Min-jae being a player who could remain at Bayern as a regular and integral part of the starting 11? So this is what Bayern Focus replied. He said, "Indeed, despite playing a considerable amount of minutes, Kim Min-jae's first 2 seasons at Bayern were rather difficult. In contrast, he really stepped up last season, even after being pushed behind Ta and Upamecano in the pecking order. I believe that competition contributed to the improvement in his performances. Bayern have now removed him from their list of players who could leave, and everything points towards him remaining at the club this season. And personally, I see Kim as a very good rotational option, but nothing more at the moment. Just an honest answer for Bayern Focus. Ta and Upamecano are currently undroppable. That said, Kim remains an important member of the squad, and I'm very happy to have him at Bayern. And Vincent Company and the club supporting management seem to share that view. And so, so obviously for us, Korean national team fans and Kim Min-jae fans, we want him to regularly start in the 11, and we want him to obviously make that position his. But it's true. He's had some difficulties, especially against elite level competition in the Champions League, especially. And Bayern Focus is just being honest and says, "Man, I don't really see him starting, but he's a good rotational option. Could give good minutes off the bench, and in a season where there's many competitions, he could kind of relieve the starters that he sees at the moment as Todd Upamecano." So what do you think, Kevin?
I mean, to contextualize with Min-jae, I'm glad that we're talking about this because Min-jae is now with the twilight of Sonny's career, he's our undisputed most important player. One could argue even that was the case during the World Cup. But yeah, Min-jae, I mean, his tenure at Bayern is very interesting. This is the best case scenario, in my opinion, considering everything that Min-jae is going through. Last year, if I get this right, last year he played around 2,000 minutes, whereas the year before, the same year that Bayern Focus is referring to, the year that he stepped up, he played around 3,500 minutes 2 years ago. And if you remember correctly, or if I'm recalling correctly, he had an Achilles injury that was exacerbated because he was continuously playing off that injury. I think that's a reason why Bayern Focus is saying that he stepped up, because he still put in performances despite his condition and despite being overworked.
Yeah.
So he cooled off a little bit last year in light of the World Cup this summer. But if you really consider Min-jae's condition as a whole, I think it's for the better, especially for national team supporters, to not overwork him, man. Like,
Yeah, I
he's,
agree.
how old is he? He is 29 now. Yeah, he's 29 now, so he's gonna be 33 next World Cup. I think we're still going to need him, but a lot of his game depends on physicality. So, preserving his condition as much as possible, or even just like um, being more picky about the minutes that he plays. Like, look, if he has like obviously I want him to play more than how much Park Ji-sung played at Manchester United, but Park Ji-sung was known as a big game player, and if Min-jae is the kind of guy who slots in for those big games, like, sure, Tan Upamecano can be undroppable. I don't mind that, but if the Bayern faithful and the team still back Min-jae as a top player that they can depend on, it's kind of like the best case scenario, all things being considered, for Min-jae.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I think at this point in his career, although I would love him being more in the spotlight, I'd rather actually have him preserved for a national team, if I'm honest. And he gets to also show his best at Bayern because he's not getting as many minutes, and so the minutes that he does get, he will go full throttle and go all in. And so I like that too. I think if he was
Yeah,
younger in
keep him
his
healthy.
career, I would be
Yeah,
complaining a little bit. I'd be like, "Oh man, go somewhere where you're
right.
gonna be the man."
And
Like
that's
in the
fair.
Premier
That's
League.
fair. Yeah.
But now at 29, yeah, I think it's actually nice to see him in this kind of position where he's gonna be a rotational player, so he's gonna get time, but they're not gonna be riding him,
I
as other.
mean,
Yeah.
bottom line for me and with Bayern and Min-jae, if the team respects him and the supporters respect him, then I'm happy because Min-jae is unquestionable in his quality. I mean, the legacy that he left in Napoli in his short years there is ridiculous. I don't think Korean supporters talk enough about it. How he won that first. He was part of the team that won the Scudetto with Napoli like after what 30 odd years, and then he won best defender of the year in Serie A. Like you're
Insane.
taking the piss, man. Like I don't ever want to hear any Min-jae slander, and I know he's always gonna come good, especially
Yeah.
when he puts on the national team shirt.
Yeah.
So just stay healthy, my brother, and make sure you feel loved. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. All right, we're gonna go to question number two, and the question number two is: There's a growing relationship between Bayern Munich and South Korea. From a Bayern Munich perspective, what is it about South Koreans that make them so attractive to the club? And Bayern Focus answered, well, Bayern have built a very strong relationship with South Korea, particularly thanks to Kim Min-jae. He is a true hero in his home country, and Bayern can capitalize on the popularity to expand their international influence, PR, and marketing, similar to Atletico Madrid with Lee Gang-in. Bayern have already seen how powerful this can be with Luis Diaz in Colombia. Ruben Casper said orders from Colombia increased by more than 400%. Wow, it's crazy. While traffic to Bayern's online store from the country rose by more than 200%. And so, in my opinion, Bayern are aiming for a similar effect in South Korea and more broadly across Asia, where the commercial potential is enormous. And you know what? I mean, I think like that probably played a part, perhaps, in bringing over Heo Jae-won. I think we'd be naive to think
Yeah.
that it was all just you know just his talent. Although he is very talented and he has a lot of potential, I think there's a lot of upside to what he brings off the pitch, in continuing that Asian legacy and continuing the Asian market, which is only growing in the football world. And um, yeah,
Yeah.
I like to see that Bayern is investing and is seeing that side of Asia, and I don't mind them, using us, for to increase their market and giving our players at the same time a chance to develop under their umbrella and play in Europe and potentially become world class players.
Yeah. I mean, this is the PR kind way of saying shirt sellers, right? If we're being frank.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
yeah,
if supporters in Colombia want to support their star man and he plays in Bayern, like, let them rep their star man, the Bayern top. You know what I mean? Like, Min-jae is an undisputed top player playing for an undisputed top club. So, this is just how the cookie crumbles, man. I don't think there's much else to put into it.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Now, speaking of the relationship between South Korea and Bayern Munich, we've also had other players besides Kim Min Jae and now Heo Jae-won come through, and they've actually done pretty decent. They obviously haven't made it to the first team at Bayern, but through their development at Bayern Munich, they now are having fairly decent European careers. And the first person I think of is Lee Hyun-ju, although he came after Chung Woo-young, who I'll talk about in a moment. But Lee Hyun-ju
Hmm.
was developed under U19 team, and Lee Hyun-ju was developed in the Bayern Munich B team, and he ended up going to different places, but he's now having a relatively good career with FC Aruca in the Primeira Liga in Portugal, and he's doing very well with the club there. And I think we have Bayern Munich to thank for his development to bring him to that kind of
Hmm.
place. And the second person is Jung Woo Young, who also was developed by Bayern Munich in the B team,
Hmm.
and he's gone on to regularly play for Bundesliga clubs,
Hmm.
Stuttgart, and now more recently Union Berlin. And so
Hmm.
there's some good effects that any our players so far have had at Bayern. I can't say that we've had a player that wasted their time at Bayern Munich. Like it's actually led to a productive or a fruitful sort of opening to play in Europe. And so that's kind of hope that I have for Heo Jae-won as well. He may not play for Bayern, but he's gonna develop there, and hopefully that will lead to an opportunity to continue to play in Europe and be our first like Korean European goalkeeper.
Yeah, I mean, considering that Hoja term is a loan, I think the ideal for me is at least he learns a lot at Bayern, returns to the K League, starts, kills it,
Mm,
continues to
okay.
kill it,
Yeah.
and then make his way to Europe. Because a
Mm,
kid like him, especially a goalkeeper, like you need minutes.
Yeah.
And if you're playing at a level where you're very, very like I think of Chesney, for instance, at Arsenal. You know what I mean? This is so random, but I think he was at not Brentford, but another like Division 2 team, which is 4 tiers below the Prem, right? But he played there regularly. The fans loved him. He did his best, and then immediately started for Arsenal wearing the number 53 shirt. You know what I mean? So that's the way that young goalkeepers thrive. It's playing regularly, and if you're doing bits, then hopefully you're around the right people to recognize it and give you your chance. So with the squad players that you mentioned, Chung Woo Young and Lee Hyun Ju, like I'm glad this is kind of how it goes when you develop at a top club. Reminds me of Manchester United, for instance. Even if you don't play for Manchester United, you're gonna play for a top club. You're gonna actually make a living playing football. So this is what the lads are doing, and Chung Woo Young, especially, I kind of have an eye on because he's been playing in Bundesliga for quite a while now. I know the critics can say playing is a bit generous considering he has a lot of bench. He has a lot of time on the bench,
Yeah,
but
it's true.
Union Berlin, I don't think he has much of an excuse anymore. He's got to be playing regularly. Union Berlin's a mid-table team, respectfully, and yeah, he's just got to play. So he's one of those heads where, especially if it comes off well, I will be thankful yet again to Bayern supporting Korean ballers as
Yeah.
they do their best for our team.
Yeah, and so we talked to FC Bayern Focus about that, and we acknowledge that Bayern Munich is a great place to develop and start a career in Europe, even if a player doesn't make it to the first team. And we also asked the question: how difficult is it for a Bayern Munich II player to actually crack the first team? And this was his response. First, he acknowledged that yes, Bayern does benefit players who come through their system. Absolutely, between Bayern's facilities, the chance to train around world class players, and the opportunities Vincent Company and the sporting management give young players, there are very few clubs of this size that offer such a high quality development environment. And I definitely acknowledge that. I think Bayern Munich goes out of the way to, not just recruit for their club, but like develop players around the world. I give them props for that. I don't see big clubs of that stature doing as much as Bayern Munich in that regard. Breaking into Bayern's first team is obviously extremely difficult, but the club has increasingly tried to create pathways. First team integration, strategic loans, and the Red and Gold Partner Club network. And even if a player ultimately leaves, Bayern can still be a major springboard, as Jonathan Asp Jensen, Paul Warner, and Nestor Irankunda have shown. So yes, even without becoming a Bayern first team regular, the development experience can still launch a strong European career. Thoughts on
Sorry,
that?
there's a there was a siren going through my
No
neighborhood, so
worries.
I
No
wanted to
worries.
mute my mic real quick. Yeah, I mean, it's like I mentioned earlier with Manchester United, top clubs develop top talent, and some of the top talents won't be able to break into that top club, so they'll play elsewhere, and totally makes sense. Bayern is German football. You know what I mean? So no notes. It's true.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're going to now finally ask Bayern Focus about what he thinks about Heo Jae-won. So um, we mentioned Heo Jae-won is the first Korean goalkeeper to transfer directly to a top five league, let alone Bayern. What are your initial thoughts? And this is the way he responded. He was very honest. Honestly, I don't know Heo Jae-won very well yet. I've only seen him play once with the world squad in the match against Bayern U19. And at the time, I was mainly focused on the Bayern players. But one fact stands out immediately. He is the only player from the 2026 World Squad to have been signed by Bayern for this season. That alone speaks volumes about how the club views potential during the program. And on that note, I'm just going to combine his answer to the next question. I asked, how do you think playing for the same club that produced Neuer will impact Ho? And do you think it's possible that Bayern Munich signed him to groom a successor to Neuer? And I just really liked his response here. He gave a really good insider expert Bayern Munich response. Um, excuse me. Calling her a potential successor to Manuel Neuer is far too early. Right now, Jonas Urbig is the only player who can realistically be viewed in that conversation because he's already with the first team and performing at an exceptional level in major competitions. If the successor were to emerge from the youth setup, Leonard Prescott or David Podar Stube would currently be more credible candidates. Ha is only on a 6-month loan, so Bayern first need to decide whether to sign him permanently. Simply earning first team minutes in the coming years would already be an exceptional achievement. He would become only the second World Squad player to reach that level after Macon Cardozo. For now, the focus should be on each step of his development rather than projecting him as Neuer's heir. And I think that's a very good, wise response. And I especially really appreciate just his knowledge of the goalkeepers that are next in line and just even those that are prominent in the youth setup. And yeah, your thoughts, Kevin?
Yeah. It's a very kind response, all things being considered, because
Mm,
Ha is Ha is barely starting his career, and we're talking about we're talking about a goalkeeper that revolutionized or made the goalkeeping position more contemporary with his sweeper keeper options and just being professional at everything else on top of adding that element to the game. So it's unheard of to consider a youth product on a 6-month loan to be able to step into those shoes. But it is also massive to hear about all the other prospects that Bayern have in their youth rankings that can potentially step up into that position. I honestly think that it's such massive shoes to fill. It might be better for one's career to not even consider that altogether. If you're a
mm.
starter for Bayern Munich, if you're Bayern Munich's new number one, do a good job there and just appreciate doing a good job there. Trying to fill Manuel Neuer's shoes as a goalkeeper is like it's a Herculean task.
He's
We'll
a
leave it
legend.
at that.
He's
Yeah,
a legend,
straight up legend.
straight up legend. Yeah. So there you have it. As Korean national team fans, of course, we dream. As fans, we're allowed to glaze the possibilities of a player like that coming into Bayern Munich and just wonder at the possibility of that. And it's a possibility. It's although a very slim one, but it remains in the realm of possibility. But right now, the best thing for as Meyer Neuer, even Manuel Neuer said himself, is just get game time, take it one step at a time. And for us Korean national team fans to have tempered expectations and just support him step by step on his goalkeeping journey. He's still only 18, and the only thing for us to do is really root him on in this 6-month loan period and hope that he does well enough that Bayern Munich see potential to keep him and make the
Yeah,
transfer permanent. Um, and so that's
yeah.
that.
Really, when it comes to Bayern from a Korean football lens, all eyes are on Min-jae, in my opinion.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I really, I just hope he stays healthy.
mm.
Asian Cup, I know he's not going to enjoy having to go back to the Korea camp, considering that we're still a hot mess express with no manager. I even wonder where his head is at
Hot
when
Mess
it comes to
Express,
the
I like
upcoming. Yeah, dude. Especially when it comes to the upcoming friendlies, I have no clue where his head must be at. So, stay fit, lad. I'm not really worrying about minutes, like I mentioned, for um, all the reasons I said. So,
yeah.
yeah, hope
What
Bayern have a
gives me
stellar
hope.
season. Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. And what gives me hope at the end of the day is like, yeah, would it be crazy if somehow he just blows up at Bayern Munich and somehow, you know, plays first team minutes many years later? Like that'd be amazing. That'd be incredible. That'd be revolutionary for Korean football. But
Yeah,
I'm just happy though that he's at a club that has proven track record of developing Korean players and sending them off to Europe. And so just the
yeah,
fact that you know Bayern Munich have never failed with Korean players in that regard. From my knowledge, from what I can remember, I don't think there's any player that came to Bayern Munich and then got sent home again. They've done well with Jung Woo Young. They've done well with Lee Hyun Ju. Um, I mean Kim Min-jae obviously, and so just the fact that Heo Jae-won is now entering into the conversation, and yeah, I look forward to seeing him develop, and
yeah,
I hope that he can become this European goalkeeper in time
yeah.
for us.
For
Yeah.
Heo Jae-won, the immediate near future, I reckon if we see his name on the team sheet of like U20, U23 national team games, then we'll know he's on the right track. I'm trying to remember how old Kim Sung-gyu was when he got called up to the national team, but there is opportunity for him with the national team currently. You know what I mean? Like Kim Seung-gyu, Cho Yeon-woo, they are in their mid 30s, and Song Bum-kun, I don't really think that he's the immediate next successor. So there's plenty to fight for here, and World Cup's 4 years away. A lot can happen, especially for He in 4 years' time, considering his age. So if he plays regularly, let's just see what happens there and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Last, we asked Bayern Focus if he had a message to share with Korean national team supporters, and he responded. First of all, I want to highlight the incredible welcome Korean fans gave Bayern during their stay in Jeju. And yeah, the whole island came out to the airport. That was really cool to see.
Yeah,
The
that was
atmosphere
awesome.
looked absolutely amazing, and I would have loved to be there to experience that moment with all supporters. Maybe next time, who knows? I'd also like to thank Candy Football for inviting me to take part in this podcast, in this episode. Make sure to subscribe to their YouTube channel and follow their X account at Candy Football to support their excellent work. And I would also add on to that, please make sure to follow my buddy Kevin at his X account at TUH0N. And also, we want to thank Byron Focus for taking part and taking the time to answer your
Absolutely.
questions. And he really thoughtfully did. And you can follow him at FC Byron Focus on Twitter, at FC Byron Focus. So we really thank him for that. Um,
Absolutely.
and so it's exciting. It's a season to celebrate and take hope, knowing that one of our young promising prospects has been signed by Bayern for the 6 month loan period, and it gives us something else to look forward to. And at the same time, it also reminds us to have tempered expectations and just hope that he take this one step at a time and develop well and develop properly, and hopefully just even be able to have a career in Europe, let alone um, be our next, hopefully our national team goalkeeper. Any last thoughts and words from you, Kevin?
Not really. Just once again, massive shout outs Bayern Focus at FC Bayern Focus. Thank you for your thorough responses. It's nice to read all this. It's honestly nice to hear from supporters their genuine opinion on our boys on their team. So that's great. Hope Bayern smash it. Hope our lads smash it. I was trying to think of something. There was something that I wanted to say, but it escapes me. So I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Well, thank you guys once again for joining us for this episode. If you like this video, if you found it interesting, if you can like the video and smash the subscribe button, it will help us with the algorithms. And until then, we'll see you next time.